In the year 2247, something extraordinary happened. A massive alien ship appeared in the sky above Earth. It was so large that it blocked out the sun over entire cities. People all over the world stopped what they were doing to look up. Phones buzzed with alerts, news channels scrambled to cover the event, and social media exploded with theories. No one knew why these aliens had come or what they wanted. But soon, the answer became clear. The ship sent a message, broadcast in every language on Earth. The voice was calm but strange, like many tones layered together. "We are the Galactic Council," it said. "We oversee the civilizations of this galaxy. Humanity has reached a point where we must decide your fate. Are you ready to join the galactic community? Or do you pose too great a risk to universal peace?" The message ended, leaving billions of people stunned. At the United Nations headquarters in New York City, Nathan Cole sat in a meeting room with other scientists and diplomats. He was a tall man with short brown hair and glasses that gave him a serious look. Nathan worked for the United Nations space program and had spent years studying the possibility of alien life. Now his expertise was needed more than ever. Across the table sat Rachel Meyer, a confident woman with sharp features and a knack for finding common ground between opposing sides. She was known as one of the best diplomats in the world. "They're here to judge us," Nathan said, breaking the silence. His voice was steady, but his hands gripped the edge of the table tightly. "They'll be watching everything, our technology, our behavior, even our history." Rachel nodded. "And we have a lot to explain. Our wars, our pollution, the things we've done to each other. It won't look good." Her tone was matter-of-fact, but there was a flicker of worry in her eyes. A few hours later, the aliens arrived on Earth. They didn't land their ship. Instead, smaller vessels detached from the mothership and descended silently into the UN Plaza. When the doors opened, towering figures stepped out. Their leader, Zorath, stood at least 10 feet tall. His body was covered in a shimmering exoskeleton that reflected the sunlight. Behind him were other council members, each looking completely different from the next. One had glowing blue skin, another resembled a bird-like creature with feathers made of light. Zorath addressed the gathered crowd. "We will evaluate your species," he said in the same layered voice from the broadcast. "Your achievements, your failures, and your potential. This is not a decision we take lightly." Nathan watched closely as the council began examining holographic displays set up by the UN. These projections showed humanity's greatest accomplishments: building skyscrapers, exploring space, curing diseases, creating art. But they also showed the darker side of human nature: wars, environmental destruction, and inequality. Nathan felt a pang of frustration. How could they possibly understand humanity in such a short time? One of the council members, Kayla, spoke up. She had iridescent scales covering her body and piercing yellow eyes. "This species is chaotic," she said dismissively. "Look at their history of violence. They destroy each other without hesitation. What makes you think they deserve a place among civilized beings?" Rachel stepped forward, her voice firm. "Because we learn," she replied. "Yes, we've made mistakes, but we've also grown. We've rebuilt after disasters, created beauty from ashes, and dreamed of reaching the stars. Isn't that worth something?" Kayla tilted her head, considering Rachel's words, but Zorath remained impassive. For now, humanity's fate hung in the balance, and as the day drew to a close, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that the council already had their minds made up. The next morning, Nathan Cole woke up early, unable to shake the weight of the previous day's events. He stared out the window of his small apartment in New York City, watching the alien ships still hovering silently in the sky. The sight was surreal, like something out of a movie. But this was real. Humanity's future depended on what happened next. Nathan took a deep breath, grabbed his bag, and headed to the UN headquarters. Rachel Meyer was already there when he arrived. She looked tired but determined, her hair tied back neatly, and a cup of coffee steaming on the table in front of her. Around them, the room buzzed with activity. Scientists, diplomats, and military advisors were all working together, trying to figure out how to convince the Galactic Council that humanity deserved a chance. "They're observing everything," Rachel said as Nathan sat down. "Every move we make, every word we say, it matters." Nathan nodded. "But how do we show them who we really are? They've seen our history, our mistakes, but they haven't seen the good we're capable of." Before Rachel could respond, an announcement came over the intercom. The council had requested another meeting. This time, they wanted to see Earth for themselves. Zorath and his team would visit different parts of the planet to witness human life firsthand. The first stop was a bustling city in Asia. The council members walked through crowded streets, their towering forms drawing stares from everyone around them. Kayla, the reptilian council member with glowing yellow eyes, seemed particularly fascinated by the markets. She stopped to examine a stall selling handmade crafts, her scaled hand hovering over a delicate wooden carving. "These items, you create them for enjoyment?" she asked, turning to Nathan, who had been assigned to guide the council during their tour. "Yes," Nathan replied. "Art is one of the ways we express ourselves. It shows our creativity, our emotions." Kayla tilted her head, considering this. For a moment, Nathan thought he saw a flicker of curiosity in her gaze. But then Zorath interrupted, his voice firm and unyielding. "Creativity is meaningless without discipline. Your species has squandered its potential too many times." The group moved on, visiting a hospital next. The doctors and nurses showed the council advanced medical technology, explaining how humans had cured diseases and extended lifespans. One doctor proudly demonstrated a machine that could repair damaged tissue using nanotechnology. Zorath watched silently, his expression unreadable, but Kayla appeared intrigued. Later, they traveled to a rural village in Africa. There, the council witnessed a community working together to build a school. Children ran up to greet the visitors, laughing and pointing at the strange aliens. Nathan noticed that even Zorath softened slightly as he observed the scene. Perhaps there was hope after all. But not everyone was welcoming. In Europe, protests erupted outside a government building where the council had gathered. Angry crowds chanted slogans, holding signs that read, "Stay out of our affairs," and "We don't need you." The council members looked down at the protesters with cold indifference. "This is why we cannot trust your kind," Zorath said to Nathan. "You fight among yourselves even when faced with a greater purpose." Nathan clenched his fists but kept his voice calm. "Not all of us agree with those protests. We're not perfect, but we're learning. That's what makes us human." Back at the UN headquarters that evening, Nathan and Rachel reviewed the day's events. They knew the council wasn't convinced yet, but they also knew they couldn't give up. Rachel leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. "We need to show them something bigger," she said. "Something that proves we're more than just our mistakes." Nathan thought for a moment, then smiled faintly. "I think I have an idea." That night, Nathan Cole worked late in a dimly lit lab beneath the UN headquarters. The room was filled with blinking screens, humming machines, and scattered papers covered in notes and diagrams. He wasn't alone. Liam Harper, a young engineer with messy blonde hair and a knack for solving problems, stood beside him, typing furiously on a computer. Together, they were piecing together something extraordinary, a prototype starship called the Eclipse Asterisk. It was humanity's best-kept secret, a project years in the making, designed to push the limits of what humans could achieve. "We need to show them we're not just dreamers," Nathan said as he adjusted a panel on the ship's engine. "We're doers. We've built this without their help, and it proves we can handle ourselves." Liam nodded, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "If we can get this thing running perfectly, it might just impress them. But we don't have much time." While Nathan and Liam worked, Rachel Meyer was dealing with a different kind of problem. Back at her office, she received an urgent message from one of her aides. Zorath, the council leader, had requested a private meeting with her first thing in the morning. The tone of the message made Rachel uneasy. She couldn't shake the feeling that the council was planning something, and it wasn't good. The next day, Rachel met Zoreth in a quiet conference room. His towering frame loomed over her as he spoke, his voice calm but firm. "Your species continues to surprise us," he began. "But surprises are not always welcome. We have seen glimpses of your potential, yet your actions remain unpredictable." Rachel crossed her arms, trying to stay composed. Unpredictable doesn't mean dangerous. It means we're adaptable. Isn't that a quality worth valuing? Zoreth didn't answer right away. Instead, he studied her with his multifaceted eyes, as if searching for something. Finally, he said, "Adaptability is meaningless without control. Your people act impulsively, driven by emotion rather than reason. That is why we must proceed carefully." Rachel felt a chill run down her spine. "What does that mean? What are you planning?" Zoreth hesitated before responding. "The Council has considered several options. One involves isolating Earth until your species demonstrates stability. Another," he paused, letting the weight of his words sink in, "is more severe." Rachel's heart sank. She knew what he meant. If the Council decided humanity was too risky, they might take drastic measures, perhaps even dismantling Earth's infrastructure to prevent future threats. She left the meeting shaken, knowing she had to warn Nathan immediately. When Rachel arrived at the lab, she found Nathan and Liam deep in conversation. The Eclipse sat in the center of the room, its sleek design gleaming under the lights. It looked like nothing humanity had ever built before. "We intercepted some transmissions," Nathan explained, holding up a tablet. "They're talking about classifying us as a level 0 civilization. That means no contact, no technology sharing, nothing. And there's worse," Rachel added grimly. Zoreth hinted at something even more extreme. "They might try to shut us down completely." Liam frowned, leaning against the workbench. "Then we don't have a choice. We have to use the Eclipse. Show them what we're capable of." Nathan agreed. "Exactly. If we can intercept their fleet and demonstrate our tech firsthand, maybe we can change their minds." But as they finalized their plan, Nathan noticed something odd. One of the security cameras in the lab flickered briefly, then went dark. A moment later, it came back online. He glanced at Rachel, who shared his concern. "Do you think they're watching us?" she asked quietly. "It's possible," Nathan replied. "We'll have to be careful." Unbeknownst to them, the Council had indeed grown suspicious of Nathan's activities. Zoreth ordered surveillance on the UN delegation, focusing particularly on the underground lab. For now, the Council bided its time, waiting to see what humanity would do next. As the hours passed, tension filled the air. Nathan, Rachel, and Liam knew they were running out of time. The fate of humanity rested on their shoulders, and on the success of the Eclipse. The mood at the UN headquarters was tense. Nathan Cole, Rachel Meyer, and their team had been working nonstop to prepare the Eclipse for its mission. But just as they thought they were ready, a new problem arose, one that hit closer to home than any of them expected. It started with whispers. Someone within the human delegation had been leaking information to the Galactic Council. At first, it was small things, details about the meetings, updates on Earth's technological progress. But then more sensitive data began surfacing, plans for the Eclipse, schematics, even recordings of private discussions. The Council seemed to know too much, and it was clear there was a traitor among them. Suspicion quickly fell on Daniel Quinn, a junior diplomat with close ties to powerful corporations. Daniel wasn't well liked by many in the group. He was ambitious, often prioritizing profit over principles, and his eagerness to please the aliens had raised eyebrows from the start. When confronted, Daniel didn't deny the accusations. Instead, he defended himself, his voice calm but firm. "I did what I thought was best for humanity," he said, standing in the center of the room while everyone glared at him. You all are so focused on proving ourselves to the Council, but what if we fail? What happens then? If we're cut off from galactic technology, we'll fall behind. I wanted to ensure we'd still have a chance. Rachel stepped forward, her hands clenched into fists. By betraying us? By giving away our secrets? Do you realize how dangerous that is? They're watching us, judging us, and now they know everything. Daniel looked down, guilt flashing across his face. I thought they'd see it as cooperation, that it would help our case. Nathan shook his head, disappointment written all over his face. Cooperation doesn't mean selling out your own people. You've put us all at risk. The argument left the group fractured. Rachel tried to keep everyone united, reminding them that infighting was exactly what the Council expected from humanity. But the damage was done. Trust had been broken, and Nathan found himself pulling away from the diplomatic process altogether. He decided to focus solely on the *Eclipse*, convinced that action would speak louder than words. He turned to Sophia Grant, a brilliant astrophysicist who had been quietly supporting the project from the sidelines. Sophia was soft-spoken but fiercely intelligent, with sharp green eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. She had spent years studying alien technologies recovered from earlier space missions, and her expertise was crucial for refining the ship's systems. We need to make sure the *Eclipse* is ready, Nathan told her as they worked late into the night. No matter what happens, this is our last shot. Sophia nodded, her fingers flying over a tablet as she adjusted the ship's energy shields. It's risky, Nathan. If they catch us, they'll see it as an act of aggression. I know, Nathan replied, but if we don't try, we've already lost. Meanwhile, the Council announced their final judgment would come in 3 days. Zorath made the declaration during a live broadcast, his tone cold and unyielding. Humanity has shown promise, but also great instability. In 3 days, we will decide whether you are fit to join the galactic community, or if you must be contained. The announcement sent shockwaves around the world. People gathered in streets and squares, holding vigils and protests. Some demanded peace, while others called for resistance. The pressure weighed heavily on Nathan and his team, but it also strengthened their resolve. As the clock ticked down, Nathan and Sophia ran final tests on the *Eclipse*. The ship hummed with power, its sleek surface reflecting the lights of the lab. For the first time, Nathan allowed himself a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, humanity could pull this off. But outside the lab, unseen eyes continued to watch. Zorath had grown increasingly suspicious of Nathan's activities, and the Council's surveillance teams were closing in. Time was running out, not just for the *Eclipse*, but for humanity itself. With only hours left before the Council's final decision, Nathan Cole stood in the control room of the underground lab, staring at the *Eclipse*. The ship gleamed under the bright lights, its design sleek and futuristic. It was humanity's last hope, a symbol of everything they had achieved despite their struggles. Beside him, Sophia Grant adjusted the final settings on the ship's systems, her hand steady, but her expression tense. "We're ready," she said finally, turning to face Nathan. "The engines, shields, and AI are all functioning perfectly. If this doesn't prove we're capable, I don't know what will." Nathan nodded, though his stomach churned with nerves. "Let's just hope it's enough." Rachel Meyer entered the room, her face pale but determined. She carried a tablet with updates from the Council. "They've started their deliberations," she said. "Zorath is pushing hard for containment. He's convinced we're too unpredictable." "Then we'll show them otherwise," Nathan replied firmly. "We launch tonight." The plan was risky. Instead of waiting for the Council's verdict, Nathan and his team would take the *Eclipse* directly to the alien fleet orbiting Earth. They would demonstrate humanity's technological prowess, showing that they could match, or even surpass, the Council's advancements. It was a bold move, one that could either save humanity or provoke retaliation. As night fell, The team gathered around the Eclipse asterisk. Liam Harper gave a nervous thumbs up from the engineering station, while Sophia double-checked the flight controls. Nathan climbed into the pilot's seat, his heart pounding. Rachel stayed behind, promising to handle communications and keep the council distracted as long as possible. The launch went smoothly. The Eclipse roared to life, its engines glowing brightly as it ascended into the sky. Millions of people watched live broadcasts, holding their breath as the small ship approached the massive alien mothership. The Council's fleet loomed ahead, their ships bristling with weapons and advanced technology. When the Eclipse arrived, Nathan activated the ship's quantum propulsion system, performing maneuvers that defied physics. The Council members watched in stunned silence as the tiny vessel darted between their ships with impossible speed and precision. Next, Nathan deployed the energy shields, creating a shimmering barrier that blocked simulated attacks from the fleet. Finally, he activated the ship's artificial intelligence, which began communicating with the Council's systems in real time, showcasing its ability to adapt and learn independently. Zorath appeared on the main screen inside the Eclipse, his multifaceted eyes narrowing. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his layered voice filled with both anger and curiosity. "This is who we are," Nathan replied, his tone steady. "We may not be perfect, but we're innovative. We're resourceful, and we're not afraid to fight for our future." Kayla, the Reptilian Council member, leaned forward, her yellow eyes wide with interest. "This technology, you developed it yourselves?" "Yes," Nathan said, "without outside help. This proves we can handle ourselves." Rachel's voice crackled over the comms. "Nathan, they're debating. Keep pushing. They're listening." Encouraged, Nathan continued demonstrating the Eclipse's capabilities. He showed how the ship could repair itself using nanobots, how it could generate power from ambient energy, and how its AI could solve complex problems faster than any organic mind. Each display drew murmurs of surprise from the council members. But Zorath remained unconvinced. "Technology alone does not define a civilization," he said sharply. "You must also prove you have wisdom and responsibility." That was when Rachel stepped forward. Using the communication link, she addressed the council directly. Her voice was calm but passionate as she spoke about humanity's resilience, creativity, and capacity for compassion. She described moments in history when humans had chosen hope over despair, unity over division, and progress over stagnation. Her words seemed to resonate with Kayla, who exchanged a glance with another council member. A heated debate erupted among the council, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of alien tones. For the first time, cracks appeared in their united front. Nathan held his breath, knowing the outcome was still uncertain. But for now, humanity had their attention. And maybe, just maybe, a chance to change their minds. As the debate among the council members grew louder, Nathan Cole sat in the cockpit of the Eclipse, his fingers gripping the controls tightly. He could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him. The council's ships surrounded the Eclipse, their weapons still active but not yet firing. For now, they were watching, waiting to see what humanity would do next. Inside the council's flagship, Zorath stood at the center of a circular chamber, his towering form casting long shadows across the floor. The other council members argued fiercely, their voices echoing through the room. Kayla, her iridescent scales shimmering under the light, was the most vocal. She gestured toward the holographic displays, showing the Eclipse's capabilities, her yellow eyes flashing with intensity. "This species is unlike any we've encountered before," Kayla said, addressing Zorath. "Their technology rivals ours, and they developed it without guidance. That alone proves they have potential." Zorath's expression remained stern. "Potential is meaningless without discipline. Their history shows chaos, violence, and destruction. Would you risk the stability of the galaxy for such a species?" Before Kayla could respond, another council member, a being with translucent skin and glowing veins, spoke up. Perhaps we are too quick to judge. Look at their actions today. They came to us, not with aggression, but with a demonstration of their abilities. Is that not proof of restraint? The argument continued, dividing the council into two factions. Some agreed with Zorath, believing humanity posed too great a risk. Others, like Kayla, argued that denying them a chance would be a grave mistake. Meanwhile, Nathan and his team waited anxiously aboard the Eclipse *, unsure of what the council's decision would be. But Nathan wasn't about to leave everything to chance. While the council debated, he accessed the ship's systems and began scanning the council's archives. It was a risky move. If they detected his intrusion, it could escalate into conflict. But Nathan knew they needed leverage, something to tip the scales in humanity's favor. What he found shocked him. Buried deep within the council's records were accounts of past civilizations that had been deemed level 0 by the council. These species hadn't just been isolated, they had been wiped out entirely. The council had destroyed entire planets, erasing cultures and histories in the name of maintaining order. Nathan felt a cold knot form in his stomach as he read through the files. This wasn't justice, it was oppression. Sophia, Nathan said urgently, calling the astrophysicist over the comms. I need your help. We're broadcasting this information to the galaxy. Sophia hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Understood. Let's expose the truth. Together, they hacked into the council's communication network and transmitted the files across every channel. Within minutes, the galaxy erupted in outrage. Other civilizations, many of whom had long feared or resented the council, began speaking out in support of humanity. Messages flooded in from distant star systems, praising Earth's courage and condemning the council's hypocrisy. Back on the council's flagship, Zorath watched the unfolding chaos with growing frustration. His authority was being challenged not just by humanity, but by the very beings he governed. When Nathan's voice crackled over the comms, it sealed the council's dilemma. You wanted to judge us, Nathan said, his tone firm. But who judges you? Your actions speak louder than your words. If you deny us a place in the galactic community, you'll lose far more than our trust. You'll lose the respect of those who follow you. The council chamber fell silent. Zorath stared at the holographic display showing the Eclipse *, his expression unreadable. Finally, he spoke, his layered voice heavy with reluctance. Very well. Humanity will be granted provisional membership in the galactic community. But know this, if you fail to meet our standards, the consequences will be severe. Nathan let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. It wasn't a complete victory, but it was enough. Humanity had earned its place among the stars. For now. As the Eclipse * returned to Earth, Nathan looked out at the alien fleet one last time. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, he felt a glimmer of hope. Humanity had proven it could stand toe-to-toe with the galaxy's greatest powers. And that was just the beginning. The news of humanity's provisional membership in the galactic community spread quickly. People around the world celebrated, lighting up cities with fireworks and filling streets with cheers. For the first time in history, Earth felt like part of something bigger. But Nathan Cole knew the fight wasn't over. The council's decision was a step forward, but it came with conditions, and those conditions could still trap humanity in a precarious position. Back at the UN headquarters, Nathan met with Rachel Meyer and Sophia Grant to discuss what came next. The three of them sat in a quiet conference room, the weight of their success mingling with the uncertainty of the future. They're watching us, Rachel said, breaking the silence. Every move we make from now on will be scrutinized. If we slip up, even once, they'll use it against us. Nathan nodded, his mind racing. We've proven we can match their technology. But that's not enough. They want to see stability, unity, things we're still struggling with. Sophia leaned back in her chair, tapping her pen against the table. Maybe that's where we should focus. Show them we're working toward peace, not just progress. As they talked, Nathan couldn't shake the feeling that the council's decision wasn't entirely sincere. Zoreth's words during the final judgment still echoed in his mind. If you fail to meet our standards, the consequences will be severe. It sounded more like a threat than an opportunity. He wondered if the council had given humanity a chance because they truly believed in its potential, or because exposing their past atrocities had forced their hand. Later that day, Nathan received an unexpected visitor. Kayla, the reptilian council member who had argued in humanity's favor, arrived at the UN headquarters alone. Her glowing yellow eyes scanned the room as she entered, her movements graceful and deliberate. Nathan greeted her cautiously, unsure of her intentions. "I'd wanted to speak with you privately," Kayla said, her voice softer than usual. "Your actions have sparked change, not just for your species, but for others under the Council's rule. Many are questioning our methods now." Nathan raised an eyebrow, surprised by her honesty. "You're admitting the Council isn't perfect." Kayla tilted her head, scales shimmering faintly. "No institution is perfect. But your courage has reminded us of why we exist. To guide, not to dominate. Perhaps reforms are needed." Her words gave Nathan hope, but he remained cautious. Will the council listen? Or will they try to silence anyone who challenges them? Kayla didn't answer right away. Instead, she reached into a pouch at her side and pulled out a small device. "This is a data crystal. It contains information about other civilizations, those who have suffered under the Council's rule. Share it wisely. Allies may come from unexpected places." Nathan accepted the crystal, his hands trembling slightly. "Why are you helping us?" "Because your species reminds me of what we once were," Kayla replied. "Curious, resilient, unafraid to challenge the status quo. Do not waste that gift." After Kayla left, Nathan shared the encounter with Rachel and Sophia. They agreed the crystal could be a powerful tool, but using it would require careful planning. In the meantime, they focused on strengthening Earth's position within the galactic community. Nations worked together to improve infrastructure, reduce conflicts, and share resources. Slowly but surely, humanity began showing signs of growth. However, tensions lingered. Some humans resented the Council's oversight, viewing it as interference. Others feared the provisional membership wouldn't last. Protests erupted in major cities, demanding independence from alien influence. Nathan watched these events unfold with mixed emotions. He understood the frustrations, but he also knew isolation would only set humanity back. One evening, as Nathan stood on the rooftop of the UN building, he gazed up at the stars. The alien fleet was still visible in orbit, a constant reminder of how far humanity had come and how much farther it had to go. Behind him, Rachel joined him, holding 2 cups of coffee. "We did it," she said softly, handing him one of the cups. "Not perfectly, but we did it." Nathan smiled faintly. "Yeah, but this is just the beginning. We've earned a seat at the table, but keeping it won't be easy." Rachel nodded, her expression thoughtful. "Then we'll keep fighting. Together." For now, humanity had taken its first steps into the galaxy, and though challenges lay ahead, Nathan felt confident they could face them, as long as they stayed united. Months passed, and life on Earth began to change in ways no one had imagined. The provisional membership in the galactic community brought both opportunities and challenges. New technologies were shared cautiously, helping humanity advance faster than ever before. Diseases that once plagued millions were cured, energy sources became cleaner, and travel to other planets seemed within reach. But with these gifts came responsibilities and scrutiny. The Galactic Council kept a close watch on Earth, ensuring humanity followed their rules. Nathan Cole spent his days working with Sophia Grant to refine the Eclipse Asterisk. The ship had become a symbol of hope, not just for Earth but for other civilizations inspired by humanity's courage. Together, they studied the data crystal Kayla had given them, uncovering stories of oppressed species who had suffered under the Council's rule. Slowly, Nathan began reaching out to these groups, building alliances in secret. He knew humanity couldn't face the Council alone if things turned sour. Rachel Meyer focused on diplomacy, traveling across the globe to strengthen ties between nations. Her speeches emphasized unity, reminding people that Earth's strength lay in its diversity. "We're not just one nation or culture," she often said. "We're all part of something bigger now." Her words resonated deeply, bringing divided communities closer together. But not everyone was happy with the changes. Some corporations resented the Council's restrictions on resource exploitation, while others feared losing power in this new era. Protests continued, and tensions sometimes boiled over into violence. Nathan and Rachel worked tirelessly to address these issues, knowing that instability could jeopardize humanity's place among the stars. One day, Kayla returned to Earth. This time, she wasn't alone. With her was a small delegation of alien representatives from species who had quietly supported humanity during the Council's deliberations. They gathered in a private chamber beneath the UN headquarters, their forms strange yet familiar after months of studying galactic cultures. "We owe you a debt," one of the representatives said, his voice deep and resonant. "Your actions have given us hope." Nathan shook his head. "We didn't do it alone. You stood with us when it mattered most." Kayla stepped forward, her glowing eyes softening. "The Council is changing, slowly. There are those among us who believe in cooperation, not control. But reform takes time, and allies like you." As the meeting ended, Nathan felt a renewed sense of purpose. Humanity wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Challenges remained, but for the first time, he saw a path forward, a future where Earth could truly belong in the galaxy. That night, Nathan climbed to the rooftop of the UN building once more. The sky was clear, dotted with countless stars. Beside him stood Rachel, her arms crossed against the cool breeze. Below them, the city buzzed with life, a testament to humanity's resilience. "We've come a long way," Rachel said, breaking the silence. Nathan nodded, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Yeah, we have. But there's still so much to do." Rachel glanced at him, her expression thoughtful. "Do you think we'll make it? Really make it?" Nathan looked up at the stars, his mind filled with possibilities. "I don't know. But I do know one thing. We'll never stop trying." For now, humanity's journey was far from over. The road ahead would be difficult, full of unknowns and dangers. But as long as people like Nathan, Rachel, and countless others refused to give up, there was hope. Hope for a better tomorrow, not just for Earth, but for every species daring to dream of freedom and unity among the stars. And somewhere, in the vastness of space, the *Eclipse* waited, ready to carry humanity further than anyone had ever dreamed possible.